Welcome back, everybody. It's Cree Rama from Junk Journal Divas. Good morning, my friends. I just took my kids to school. I've got my coffee here. Actually, I think I need a refill. And I'm going to be working on making a little tag book. And this will be for a swap for Junk Journal Divas. And I think I want to put this guy on. This is going to be my cover. And in my last video, I was showing, I had a little piece of gold wire and it was just sitting on my desk, and I had the thought to try to write love, and I loved it. So I did it again. Now this wire is flexible. The other one, it was a lot more stiff. So I'm thinking I will attach it and put brads here in the swirls to hold it down. And this will be my cover. Now I have these two other pages. This is just food packaging that I covered with printed digitals. And these are from Cheryl Francis. I love these papers. And then I also have my House Whimsy. I have a whole bunch of fairy, and look at all of these. I put a bunch of them together to use as focal points. So I've got lots to choose from here. I'm going to start with this one, and this tag is not backed with anything. So once I put my brads through and push them down, I can cover them in the back here. So that is what I'm going to do first. I'm thinking that I'll add some embossing powder or something to his wings. So I decided to use this gold leaf instead. I do have the flakes, but I just got these sheets and I thought, let me try to use these. So I've never used it before. And I'm pretty much just putting the glue down in the spots where I would want it to stick, and then press the sheets down onto the glue, and then the rest of it will come up. And then I just kind of rub across it with my finger to pull off the extra bits. And then since I have all of this out and I have the extra pieces there, I thought I might as well do some more. So I grabbed two of my girl fairies and just adding some gold to their wings also. And I do like the sheets. I actually prefer this, I think, over using just the gold flakes. It's just so much easier to put the glue down and you just press it on. So here are some of my fairies with their sparkly wings, and there's the guy for my cover. So I'm back to putting my cover together here. So I'm going to glue this book plate down, and then I have to figure out where I want to position my love, and I'm using my handy dandy push pin here that I love to poke holes. So that will be the holes to get my brads through. And then once I have them pushed through to the back, I'm going to cover the back of this tag. I just grabbed a piece of paper that I had printed that I haven't used, and it kind of, the colors went with this tag book. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and glue this down. So one thing that's difficult about making these is trying to figure out when you should do the binding, because for the tab style binding, which I'm going to do, you don't want to do it if your pages are going to be really bulky, because you want to make sure you give yourself enough space. But then on the other hand, you've got the tape or whatever it is that you're using for your tabs that cover up a part of your picture. So it's kind of tricky trying to figure out when to do that. But I almost wish I would have put the tabs down first, because now I'm going to have to cover up some of the guy's wings. But just something to keep in mind. So now I have the back covered up, and just inking that around the edges. And I'm poking the holes in all of my tags here. Then I'll get some sari ribbon and probably add some fuzzy yarn to it. I like to add all kinds of fun fibers and things to the top of the tags. And I just got this punch, the hole protector punch, so I was excited to use this. I want a piece of lace or something to go around the bottom, and I like this piece better. It's a little bit thicker and not as thin and see-through. So I am going to go around this cover and do some sewing. So I'm just going to use some double-sided sticky tape to put this down. And I think I'm ready to sew around the edges. So here is after doing the sewing. And now I'm going to put down this fancy mirrored piece of embellishment. I wanted to do that after I do my sewing. And now I'm just going through this little package of a bunch of hearts that I have, and I want to use hearts for my page tabs. So I'm just kind of figuring out where do I want to put the page tab on this one. And I'm putting one on the front and then flipping it over, and I'm going to line it up and put one on the back also. And I do that with all of my tags. And I have these cute little envelopes. Now I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to use this yet, but I thought let me put it together and ink it up and it'll be ready to go. And now I'm starting my tab style binding, and I'm using this washi tape. It's red, kind of glittery washi tape, so I am using some glue to make sure that that sticks, because you guys know washi tape does not stick. So what I'm doing is on the first page, I will do 4 tabs. And then on the next page 3, and then 4, and then 3, and you would just continue alternating for as many pages as you have. So for the first one I've got 4, and then I'm going to flip it over. And for my one underneath it, you can see I'm just making little marks where I would want my 3 to be, because you want to make sure they go between the tabs on the first page. So on this one, I'm going to put my 3 tabs down. And then I'm going to flip it over. And now I'm going to take my tabs from the cover, from the first one, and I'm going to fold those over onto the second page. And when you do this, just do it very gently. Don't pull too tight, because your pages will not lay flat. And now, since I only have one more page left, I can go ahead and just put it onto the back. I don't have to add more tabs to any of the pages. And that's it. My binding is complete. This is what I have on the front cover so far, and I'm loving it. I did my binding, my tab binding. And I had to stop talking in that video because we had people here putting mulch down in our yard, so my dogs were going crazy. So this is what I have so far. I don't have any of the pages decorated. I know I want to use little hearts for my page tabs, so I can put those on. And on the back, I've got a lot of ephemera pieces, so I wanted to put a pocket here, so I was thinking of doing a heart pocket. So let me cut this and see if it will fit. These are also from House Whimsy, and these are just a couple of them that I printed out that I had here to play around with and do things with. Kind of fun. So that's pretty good. Let's ink this up. Now all of that, and then I decided to rip it up because I have this row of hearts that I put together and I want to use it as a belly band. I thought I'd be able to put more things in there, some more ephemera pieces. So I'm just cutting it down to size, and I'm going to use my double-sided sticky tape to put it down. When I was cutting this down to size, I removed one of the hearts, so I'm going to add the heart at the bottom. So it'll just kind of cover up that piece that tore off when I removed the other heart. And now I'm just cutting some pieces of sari ribbon and a couple pieces of my fuzzy yarn to go through the holes at the top. And these are pretty thick. They're kind of folded together. So I unfold them and rip them so that they're thinner and they go through the holes a lot better. And I wanted to add a little bit of white to the ribbon on the front. So I just kind of shoved some in there and I'm just going to go ahead and tie it on. I just wanted a little bit more color added in there. Some contrast to the darker pink shades. So there we go. Now I can move on to another spread. Now on this page, I know that I want to do some kind of a little flip up, and so I'm using one of these embossed papers that I have. This is a thick, I think this is watercolor paper that I embossed. And I'm going to need to fold it for the flip up part. So just getting that ready. And then I'll ink that up and I can go ahead and glue that down. And then I'll need to find something to put at the bottom to hold it shut. So I have this little piece of hardware that I'm going to use. I'm trying to figure out what do I want to put on the top of it. I'm just playing around with ideas, and I really liked my tea bag on here. So I'm going to use one of my tea bags, and I'm using my double-sided sticky tape to put it down. And I will link my tea bag pockets. I will link that tutorial in the video description. These were a lot of fun to make, and I just think they're so cute. I put little tickets, altered tickets down in mine, which you'll see in a minute here. I have some tickets that I decoupaged on top of, and some other ones, I think the one I use here, I just put some lace on. So now it's ready to put down onto my page, and I'm using my, again, the double-sided sticky tape, but I am going to also add some glue and just be careful trying to figure out exactly where I want to position this. And then I can go ahead and put on my closure at the bottom. I need something that's not too bulky to go underneath the flip, so I'm just going to use this heart that I tore up. I made it a little bit smaller, and I'm going to go ahead and put that underneath and make it into a little tuck spot, and I can put another little goodie in there. And then I can get ready and put down my closure. Now for the closure, I wanted to raise it up a little bit because it needs to go on top of my watercolor paper. So if you remember my hole punch that I got, I make a couple of extra little holes to cover here, and that will raise up my closure a little bit so that it's a little bit higher and can fit over that watercolor paper easily. So there, my closure. Now I'm going to put this fairy, my beautiful fairy, on the other side. And I'm just picking out a sentiment, and I am backing it with this black paper. You can see it's, I've gotten a lot of use out of it, but this is a really thick cardstock, so I want to use it all as much as I can. And I'm just adding a few little bits to this page, little embellishments and things. And this will be my heart page tab for the second page and the third page. Now this little heart will just be tucked under my other one. And I thought I would use some of this washi tape that I have and just kind of put a border on my flip up just to decorate it a little bit more. So here you can see my cute little ticket that I put in here, and this spread is pretty much finished. So for my next one, I wanted to keep this flat. Like I said, I don't want it to be too bulky, so I'm going to do another spread with my paper dolls, which I love. And I wanted to add a little bit of a, make it look like they have a ground that they're walking on. So I'm just using my black gesso and going over a little bit at the bottom, and then I'll dry that and get ready to put my paper dolls down. And you guys, if you watch my channel, I love paper dolls, whimsical and quirky looking paper dolls. So I have a whole playlist of just making paper dolls. I use printouts, I used some die cuts in one video. I used a bottle die cut for their bodies. And I just think they're so much fun to make. And if you want to play around with some paper dolls, I know a lot of the digital kits can be pricey. I've been collecting them for quite some time, so I have a lot and I love to mix and match. But there is one Etsy shop, Lisa's Altered Art, and she has collage sheets that are $1 each, and that's a great way, you know, to start and get a collection of some fun stuff to play with. So I'm just adding some little embellishment bits and bobs here and there onto this, and I'm going to outline everything. I went a little crazy with my Stabilo, and I outlined pretty much everything. A lot of times if I'm in between projects, I just play with paper dolls and I just get an inspiration for whatever it is that I want to create next. So I'm just adding a little sentiment here. And then this page is pretty much finished. I do come in with a paint marker and make some dots around just for fun. And this is just a white acrylic paint marker that I'm using, making some dots. This little book was so much fun to create. This is one of my favorite things to do because they're just little pieces and you don't have to do a whole spread. You're not worrying about signatures. It's just the decorating part and it's just fun. So I'm just doing finishing touches here, my outlining. I always just keep flipping through and keep going until I flip through and I feel like every page is complete. Guys, here's my finished tag book. I really love the way this came out and it would look really cute just sitting somewhere. But we've got the love that we did with the wire, some gold foil on his wings here, and put some fancy embellishments and lace. And I stuck a rose there. Some sari silk and fuzzy yarn on the tops of all the tags. And I do have, I always say, but I love fuzzy yarn and I've got these in my shop. So all those links and additional links to other videos, all in the video description box, including the digitals that I used. And then on this page, I did some outlining with my Stabilo. Got our tea bag pocket here. I'll put the link for this video also in the video description. These are fun to make. And this is an altered ticket. I put some lace on. It says "Kiss Me" in XO. So that's tucked down in there. And then here, this opens up. And I stamped here, it says a little note. And then this comes out, a little tuck there. Close that back up. And I used the hearts for page tabs. Now over here, I just did a collage with my paper dolls. This was fun, and I needed to keep this kind of flat. I didn't want this book to be too bulky. Put some black gesso down the back. This is kind of like a belly band. I have some things tucked in here with a little mini paper clip and my Created with Love by Kurama. So that is it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video today. Thank you for joining me. And as always, for myself and other YouTubers that you love, if you hit the like button and leave us a comment, that's a great way to show support. And I don't know about other people, but I love to read your comments. Thanks again for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.